So today we're going to learn how to make this mega blanket. Actually, come here, Moo. Come say hi. Moo's gonna say hi. Hi, say hi. Hi. You're not gonna need much supplies at all, not even a hook, because this blanket is hand crocheted. So you just need to bring your yarn, bring your hands, and that's about it. Hi! So let's get started, guys.
You guys see why I don't do intros anymore? Because she's crazy. So anyways, we're going to be using the Bernat Blanket Big Yarn. And this one is kind of hard for me to find. I got it online from Michael's like months ago, but now it seems like they're always out of stock. So what I would suggest is using the regular blanket yarn or Thick and Quick yarn from Lion brand, but use 2 strands. So we're going to need our hands, like I said before. And the first thing that we're going to do is create our slip knot. So if you're new to crochet, that's fine. This is not hard at all. We're going to twist that one strand to form a loop. Then we're going to take a strand from the right and pull it through. And then we're going to pull on both strands below, close up that loop just a tiny bit. Be able to fit little less than your entire hands through that loop. We're going to set our tail aside, so that's the end that's not attached to the yarn. And we're going to pull the yarn through the loops. As you can see, those loops are a little bit too wide. You want it to be snug, but not too snug. So I'm tightening it up a little bit. So I'm pulling through, twisting my right hand to grab the yarn. And for this pattern, we want to create 35 chains. And this is going to give you a throw that is about 70 inches long. I would suggest if you want, let's say, like an average size throw, which is about, I think, 60 inches long or 50 inches long. Don't remember specifically. But if you want the normal size throw, I would suggest that you do a chain of 30 instead of 35. If you want a baby blanket, I would suggest that you do a chain of 25. So 25 baby blanket, 30 normal throw size, and 35 if you're tall like me or if you're giving it to someone tall. I am 5'8". That I am gifting this to is 5'11". So that's why I made the throw just a little bit taller. So I'm still creating the chains. And if anything is going too fast, I did make sure not to fast forward through any of this in case you're new at this. I want you to be able to see it multiple times. I'm just showing you how your chains will look. It may not look very neat right now, but when we work back into them, it will look just fine. Okay, so now the fun begins. So we have all our chains, and if you notice right, if you check your length for your chains, it should be about 1.5 inches, and that will kind of help you get the same gauge or kind of tension as I am doing, so you'll get the same results. So now we're not going to work into that first chain, we're going to be working into the second chain and to create our first single crochet. So let me do that again. So this is our first chain, but we're going to be working in the second chain, working back. Okay, so we're going to put our fingers back through, twist it over, and push our finger through that chain, and grab the yarn, pull it up, and we're going to take our left hand, grab the yarn again with our right hand, take that and pull that through. And you just created your first single crochet. So let's do that again. So you're not working in the first, you're working in the second chain from, so that would be your 34th chain that you're working into to create your first single crochet. Pull that through, and there it is. Not so bad, right? So we're going to continue doing that for the rest of the chains. So making sure that we're not pulling it too tight. We want it to be pretty loose because we don't want a thick blanket. We want something that drapes nicely. So I'm just going to continue working single crochets. I'm going to show you again. Put your finger through. Make sure you're holding your yarn with your left hand. Insert your right hand. Use your two fingers to grab the yarn. Push it through the loop that it just created. Grab the yarn again and pull it through. And if you notice, our left hand is used like a little helper. The thing that I really like about finger crochet or hand crochet is the fact that I'm not using my wrist as much. Like, let me tell you guys, my mom did not let me play outside doing rough sports because she was afraid that I would break my wrist because I have such tiny, fragile wrists. So when I saw this yarn, I really, really wanted to use it. I was going to knit it at first, but I just wanted to do something even simpler. And I feel like a hand crochet blanket is so simple. It takes no time at all. It literally took me an hour or less. If I wasn't filming it, it would take me less than an hour to make this blanket. And it's huge and so warm. I still haven't given it to the person yet because I'm contemplating, like, kidding. But yeah, so if you're worried about, I didn't want to get that big 25 millimeter hook because I knew like that was just going to be a strain on my wrist. So this was the next best thing. Okay, so we finished the end of that row, and what we're going to do is start on the next row, and we're going to do that by turning our work so that now the start is on our right side, and we're going to build up the height for our single crochet by chaining one, and that's just pulling through the loop and forming another loop. Simple, right? Okay, so we're going to be working in both loops, but you can choose to work in either the front loop or the back loop, but the easiest way is to just work through both loops, especially if you're a very beginner. Just work through both, but I challenge you to through the back loop. I am going to take this out and work through the back loop to show you, and that is how I will finish the rest of my blanket. It's through the back loop because I do like the added texture that it gives my blanket. But if you're working through both loops, no stress, you're just inserting your hand through both. See? Pulling through, pulling again. So you're just forming a single crochet instead of forming it through a chain. You're forming it through the single crochet from your previous round. So as you can see, I did take it out and I'm working through the back loop, which gives this nice texture. So I'm going to pull them apart so you can really see, because with this yarn, the stitch definition is not very good because it's just so fuzzy. No problem, that means it's really warm, so not a big deal. So pull them apart if you need to see your stitches better. This is how your work should look if you're working in the back loops, as I am. So if you need to work it in the back loop, as you can see, I'm just working through the strand from the single crochet of the previous row. Furthest, that's the furthest from me. And I'm going to continue just working through the back loops until the end of the row. And if you need to pause it at any time, or if you need to fast forward it because you're so advanced and you already know this, then totally feel free to. But you can see I'm separating it. That's the back loop. The other loop would be considered your front loop. It's the closest to the front of your work, or closest to you, which is in the front of your work. So easy to remember. The one that's furthest from you is your back loop. The one that's closest to you is your front loop. Also, if you guys need me to do a written pattern for this, just let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what other finger crochet patterns you'd like to see, because I'm so in love with finger crochet. Seriously, guys, it is so fast. And if you feel tired right here, this is 3 rows. Just cut your yarn right here and it's a scarf, because I was going that way. Oh my god, I don't think I could do this. This is gonna take me forever. But it really didn't. It only took an hour, and I was just like, oh, maybe I could just do a scarf. So I stopped here and I tried it around my neck, and it fit really, really nicely. Let me show you a picture. This is a picture of the scarf for 3 rows. And for that, you only need a skein of this. So if you could find a skein and just chain 35 and do 3 rows, you have yourself the most warmest scarf ever, and that only takes 10 minutes. So up to you. If you feel like, you know what, I can't do it anymore, it's fine. Just call it a scarf. Just call it a day and call it a scarf. So to turn your rows, you're just doing the same exact thing. You're turning, you're chaining 1, and you're working down to the other end. Just wanted to show you guys the progress. This is about 15 rows in. It is so warm. So warm, so squishy. Leah was constantly jumping on this blanket and falling, no problem, because the squish would save her. I wanted to show you how I joined a new ball of yarn or new skein of yarn. This is not a method that I normally use because it's not very secure, but I didn't have any other ideas for this yarn because it's my first time using it. Maybe next time I use it, I'll have a better method. If you do have a better method and is so kind to share it, please leave that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you're using to join the new ball of yarn when you don't have the tapestry needle for something this thick. So what I basically do is I leave about a 12-inch tail when I'm using, as I'm working with the yarn that's about to finish. So I leave a 12-inch tail, and then let me just grab the new ball of yarn. Open that up. And what I would normally do, I did mess up here. What I normally do is pull up a loop with the old strand, but I think for some reason I just lost track of what I was doing. But I think this worked fine too. So I pulled up the loop with the new strand, and then I yarned over or grabbed the new end and pulled it through the two loops that are on my hand. But what I would normally do is pull up a loop with the old strand and then pull through with the new strand, but no harm, no foul. So with the two ends, I like to hold it against my work, and I would crochet as usual with my single crochet in the back loop, but by holding it against my project, I'm actually crocheting in or crocheting it along as I am working. So that's a good way to weave in your ends as you go. And these ends I'm just going to snip at the end. I didn't notice that it was coming out at all when I snipped those ends, but I do notice that little pieces for the end of that yarn was kind of coming off on my carpet. Nothing serious, it's just little specks from me snipping the end of that yarn. So nothing to worry about, but if you see it, just know that it's normal. It's going to happen because of the material used for this yarn. Did a total of 25 rows, and now I'm just cutting the end of the yarn, and I'm going to weave in this end by just going in and out whatever area that I could push this yarn through, because it's hard to see, which way you're really going because it's so shaggy and fluffy all at the same time. So if you just go in through different channels, go down, go through the side, go up, crisscross. I think that's the best way you can secure the end of that yarn to make sure that it does not come apart. So that's what I'm doing here. And after you do that, and that's it. I'm just going to go ahead, like I said, and snip those ends from the areas that I did join new ball of yarn. For your information, I did use 8 balls of yarn to create this blanket. I'm sure you'll need about 6 or 5 for a baby blanket. And for a normal throw size, you'll just need 7. You'll need 1 skein less. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave me suggestions in the comments below of what you'd like to see me finger crochet next. And that's it.